Send her with me. 4 words. The American soldier points at the 8-year-old girl, his finger aimed like a weapon, at her daughter. June 1945. Okinawa. A makeshift POW camp where canvas tents smell like diesel and fear. Humid air sticks to skin like wet bandages. 23 Japanese women crouch in the processing area. 23 children cling to their mothers. The soldier's boots crunch on gravel as he walks closer. His finger stays pointed. At Yuki's daughter, Keiko, 8 years old. 70 pounds of bones and terror. Korgao warida. Muzumgao. This is the end. My daughter will. Yuki can't finish the thought. Can't speak the words for what she knows comes next. What the propaganda promised. What every Japanese mother was taught happens when armies win and soldiers point. Only 847 Japanese women were captured as POWs in the entire Pacific War. 23 had children with them. This girl is one of 23. One of the rarest prisoners in the entire conflict, and an American soldier just pointed at her. The other mothers freeze. They know what this means. They've been told, trained, warned, prepared for this exact moment. American soldiers take what they want, especially children, especially girls. That's what Lieutenant Yamada said during indoctrination. That's what the propaganda films showed. That's what every nightmare promised. Quick question. Comment below what country are you watching from right now? I want to see how far this moment travels. Yuki's breath catches. Her heart hammers against ribs she can count through her skin. The soldier is holding something in his other hand. She can't see what, can't focus, can only see his finger pointing at her daughter like a death sentence. The other mothers watch, silent, knowing. Each one grateful it's not their child, each one knowing it could be next time. The soldier speaks again. Send her with me. His voice is calm, professional, like he's requisitioning supplies, not a human child. The mother lunges forward to grab her daughter, but the soldier does something that makes no sense. Something that makes no sense. He kneels, slowly, at eye level with the child. Enemies don't kneel. Enemies take. Enemies destroy. Enemies do what Lieutenant Yamada described in horrifying detail during training sessions that left mothers weeping in their bunks. But this soldier's knee hits the gravel with a soft thud. His hands stay visible. His weapon stays holstered on his hip. Yuki's mind flashes back. 3 months ago, the indoctrination barracks in Kyushu. Lieutenant Yamada pacing between rows of mothers holding their children. America Jinwa Kodomo o Kuroshi, Ripushi Jiken Suru to Ashirareta. We were taught Americans kill children, rape them, experiment on them. The propaganda films showed it. American soldiers dragging children from mothers' arms, screaming, violence. Things too horrible to name in daylight. 100,000 Okinawan civilians chose suicide over capture. Mothers threw their children off cliffs at Suicide Cliff, rather than let Americans take them. Families detonated grenades in caves, choosing collective death over individual survival. That's what honor looked like. That's what maternal love demanded. But this soldier is kneeling. His face at Kiko's eye level. His expression, not cruel, not hungry, something else entirely. The mother's heart hammers. Her throat tightens. She can smell her own fear mixing with the diesel fumes and humid ocean air. The other children whimper, cling tighter to their mothers. They've heard the stories too, whispered between bunks at night. Warnings about what happens when soldiers point. The soldier's other hand moves, slowly, deliberately, showing the motion before completing it. What is he holding? A weapon, a tool, something worse. Yuki's brain can't process what's happening. The propaganda said violence. The training said assault. The code said death before dishonor. But this soldier is kneeling like he's asking permission. Like the child has a choice. Like enemies can be gentle. Naze kanojo wa hizamazudairu no ka. Korwa wana ka. Why is he kneeling? Is this a trap? The confusion is suffocating. More terrifying than violence because violence makes sense. Violence matches the propaganda. Violence fits the narrative. but kindness, respect, gentleness toward enemy children. That rewrites everything. He opens his hand, and what the child sees makes her stop crying instantly. Makes her stop crying instantly. Because what she sees doesn't exist in her world. It's brown, wrapped in foil that catches the sunlight. Smells sweet, impossibly sweet, like nothing she's ever experienced in 8 years of war and rationing. A Hershey's chocolate bar. The child stares, blinks. Her tears stop mid-track down her dirty cheeks. Her small hand reaches forward instinctively, then pulls back, looks at her mother for permission. But Yuki is frozen, staring at the chocolate like it's a weapon. Dokuka, kusurika. Nays care wa hohoendiru. Poison? Drugs? Why is he smiling? American soldiers received 4-ounce chocolate rations weekly. Standard issue. Part of the industrial abundance that won wars before bullets flew. Japanese civilians hadn't seen real sugar in 2 years of rationing. Children like Kiko didn't know chocolate existed. The soldier unwraps one corner. The foil crinkles. The smell intensifies. Sweet, rich, alien. He breaks off a small piece, puts it in his own mouth. Chews. Swallows, shows the child see, not poison, safe. The child's eyes widen. She's never seen an adult give away food. Never seen a soldier share rations. Never seen an enemy smile while offering something precious. The mother's throat tightens. Her hands tremble. Every instinct screams trap, poison, drugged, bait before the real violence begins. But the soldier just kneels there, patient, holding the chocolate, not forcing, not demanding, just offering. The other mothers watch in horrified fascination. Is this how it starts? The kindness before the cruelty, the gift before the taking. The interpreter appears, a Japanese-American soldier named Tanaka. He speaks softly. The chocolate is a reward. After the medical examination. Your daughter needs to see the doctor. She's very sick. The chocolate comes after, if she's brave. Medical examination. Those words trigger every nightmare, every propaganda warning, every horror story whispered between mothers in the dark. Medical examination means experimentation, means violation, means things done to children's bodies that can't be undone. The child reaches for the chocolate again, her small fingers stretching toward sweetness she's never tasted. And the mother screams, no! The mother screams, no! But the soldier isn't offering chocolate as a gift. It's a bribe. The interpreter steps forward. Tanaka. His voice is calm, professional. Like he's done this 22 times before with 22 other mothers who screamed the same word. Your daughter needs medical examination. Severe malnutrition, possible organ damage. The chocolate is reward after examination, not before. She needs to be brave. The chocolate helps her be brave. Malnutrition, organ damage. Medical terms that sound clinical until you realize they mean your child is dying. The soldier stands, gestures toward the medical tent. White canvas with a red cross painted on the side. Steam rises from sterilization equipment. The smell of antiseptic cuts through diesel fumes. Kensa, agaku, soratamo jiken, examination, medicine, or experimentation. Yuki's mind races through propaganda images. Japanese military warnings about American biological experiments. Stories of children used as test subjects. Horror stories designed to prevent surrender. But the soldier is patient, not forcing. The interpreter explains the protocol. Female nurse will be present during entire examination. Mother can watch from doorway. Child will be weighed, measured, checked for infections. Blood test for anemia. Vitamin injection if needed. Then chocolate. Then return to mother. 89% of Japanese POW children showed severe malnutrition. Average weight 40% below normal for age. 12 required immediate medical intervention, or they'd die within weeks. Kiko weighs 38 pounds at age 8. Should weigh 55 to 60 pounds. She's lost 17 pounds, 30% of her body weight, in 6 months. The medical tent canvas flaps in the humid breeze. Inside, Yuki can see a female nurse preparing equipment. American. Red Cross armband. Professional medical uniform. Not a soldier nurse. The soldier holds the chocolate where Keiko can see it. Not threatening. Not demanding. Just showing, this exists. This sweetness. This reward. If you're brave. The child's ribs are visible through her thin clothing. Her arms are stick-thin. Her eyes are too large for her face. The classic sign of starvation. The mother realizes something that makes her knees buckle. Her daughter is dying. Not from American cruelty. From Japanese rationing policies that gave children 40% of adult rations while calling it patriotic sacrifice. The mother has to choose. Trust the enemy with her daughter's body, or watch her daughter die from malnutrition. Watch her daughter die from malnutrition. No good options. Only terrible ones. Yuki stands frozen. Her hands shake. Her breath comes in short gasps. Every fiber of her being screams, "Don't let the enemy touch your child." But another voice, quieter, more desperate, whispers, "Your daughter is dying. You can see her bones. You can count her ribs. She hasn't grown in 6 months." The other mothers watch. Silent. Each one facing the same impossible calculation. Maternal instinct versus cultural programming. Love versus honor. Survival versus shame. Haha to shate no hanoka. Nahanjin to shate no hokurika. Maternal instinct or Japanese pride. Which matters more? 19 of 20, 3 mothers initially refused medical treatment for their children. Cultural conditioning proved stronger than maternal instinct. At first, the propaganda was that powerful. The fear was that deep. But children don't understand propaganda. They only understand hunger, pain, the exhaustion of a body consuming itself for energy. Keiko looks at her mother, not understanding the choice, not knowing that this moment will define everything, just knowing she's hungry and tired and that brown thing smells impossibly sweet. The soldier waits, patient, not forcing. The chocolate stays visible. The medical tent stays open. The female nurse stays ready. The interpreter speaks again. 3 other mothers refused yesterday. Their children. He pauses, chooses his words carefully. Their children are very sick now. In critical condition. We're trying to save them. But it's harder when we start late. The unspoken message hangs in the humid air. Children died because mothers chose honor over medicine. Yuki's throat burns. Her chest tightens. She remembers her mother's words before deployment. Protect her honor more than her life. Death is temporary. Shame is forever. But what is honor when your child stops breathing? What is shame compared to a heartbeat that continues? The ocean waves crash in the distance. Constant. Rhythmic. Indifferent to impossible choices made by mothers in enemy camps. The other mothers shift restlessly, waiting, watching. Each one knowing they'll face this same choice. Each one hoping someone else goes first so they can see what happens. She nods. The smallest movement, barely perceptible. The soldier lifts her daughter gently. And what happens in the medical tent will rewrite everything she believed about enemies. About enemies. Because inside the medical tent, the mother sees something impossible. Her daughter is smiling. The female nurse, Lieutenant Sarah Morrison, Red Cross, kneels at Keiko's eye level, speaking in broken Japanese. Her pronunciation is terrible, but her tone is gentle, warm. Like she's talking to her own child, not an enemy's. "Hello, brave girl. My name's Sarah. We check you. Make you strong." The examination table is covered with clean white paper. Fresh, changed between patients. The smell of antiseptic is strong but not unpleasant. Clinical. Professional. The soldier who pointed stays outside. Only women in the tent. Female nurse. Female interpreter. Mother watching from the doorway. Camp protocol required female medical staff present for all child examinations. Kanojo wawariru. Teki noti no naka di mujin wawariru. She is smiling. In enemy hands. My daughter is smiling. The nurse weighs Keiko. Writes the number with a frown. 38 pounds. She checks a chart. Shakes her head. The concern is genuine. Not performative. Not propaganda. Real medical worry. She measures height. Checks reflexes. Looks in ears, nose, throat. Every movement is explained before it happens. Every touch is gentle, professional. The nurse hums while working, a soft American tune Yuki doesn't recognize. The IV drip clicks as it's prepared. Glucose solution, vitamins, minerals, things Kiko's body hasn't seen in months. The needle goes in smoothly. Kiko winces but doesn't cry. The nurse produces the chocolate immediately. Brave girl. Very brave here. Reward. Keiko's eyes widen as she tastes chocolate for the first time. Her expression, pure wonder, pure joy. The taste of sweetness after months of bland rationing meals. The nurse shows Yuki the weight chart. Points to where Kiko is. Points to where she should be. The gap is horrifying. 17 pounds, 30% of her body weight. Gone, not war. The nurse says in broken Japanese policy. Ration policy. Children get less, much less. Very bad. 0 incidents of abuse reported in 8 months of camp operation. Strict protocols. Female staff for female and child patients. Documentation of every examination. Medical ethics maintained even in war. The medic shows the mother something that makes her knees buckle. Her daughter's weight chart compared to healthy children. Compared to healthy children. The gap isn't just numbers. It's the difference between life and death. The nurse lays out 3 charts. Side by side. Visual evidence that can't be denied. Chart 1, healthy 8-year-old Japanese girl. 55 to 60 pounds. Growth curve steady. Normal development. Chart 2, Kiko's weight over the last 6 months. The line drops like a cliff. 55 pounds in January. 38 pounds in June. 17 pounds lost. 30% of her body weight. Gone. Chart 3, projected trajectory. If the weight loss continues at current rate, organ failure in 4 to 6 weeks. Death in 8 to 10 weeks. The paper rustles as the nurse points to each chart. Her voice is professional, but her eyes are angry. Not at Yuki. At something else. Watashitachi no gantai ga koroyeta no ka. Watashichi ga muzumo koros to shadeda no ka. Did our military do this? Were we killing our daughter? The nurse produces another document. Captured Japanese military rationing protocols. Official policy. Stamped. Authorized. Children under 10 receive 40% of adult rations. 1,200 calories versus 3,000 needed for growth. Policy in effect since 1943. 2 years of systematic child starvation disguised as patriotic sacrifice. The medic's pen scratches as he documents findings. Each measurement. Each sign of malnutrition. Each piece of evidence that the real enemy wasn't the Americans. It was the system that starved its own children while calling it duty. 3 other mothers refused medical treatment for their children. Yesterday. 24 hours ago. Those 3 children are now in critical condition. Organ failure. Dehydration. One might not survive the night. Then all 19 remaining mothers accepted treatment, within 6 hours. The survival instinct finally overcame cultural programming when they saw what refusal actually meant. The nurse gives Keiko another piece of chocolate, adjusts the IV drip, monitors her vital signs. Color is already returning to the child's face. The glucose is working. Life is flowing back into a body that was consuming itself. Yuki's sharp intake of breath cuts through the tent. The revelation hits like a physical blow. Her own military, her own people, her own government. They did this. Not the enemy, not the Americans. Her own side. The revelation spreads through the camp, and what the mothers do next will shock the American command. Will shock the American command. Because the mothers do something no one expected. They demand to see their own military records. The request comes through the interpreter. Formal, precise. 23 mothers standing together, united. Speaking through Yuki because she has the best Japanese military education. We request access to Japanese military documents. Specifically, child rationing protocols, civilian food distribution policies, and medical care standards for dependent children of military personnel. The American camp commander, Major Harrison, stares, blinks, looks at his aide. This has never happened before. POWs requesting to see their own military's documents. POWs demanding evidence of their own government's policies. The documents thud on the wooden table. Captured Japanese military files. Official policy papers stamped, authorized undeniable. Where wa senso no tame ni jebun no kodomo jise ni shita. Why sacrificed our own children for the war? Japanese military policy. Effective January 1943, children under 10 receive 40% of adult rations. Justification. Limited resources must prioritize combat personnel and essential workers. Children contribute nothing to war effort until age 12. Eat 1,200 calories daily for growing children who need 3,000. Systematic starvation disguised as resource management. The translator's voice hesitates as he reads the next section. Medical care protocols. Children receive treatment only after active military personnel, essential workers, military dependents over age 12. Then maybe. Children under 10. If resources remain, resources never remained. The mother's collective gasp fills the tent. They knew food was scarce. They knew rationing was necessary. They didn't know it was policy. Deliberate. Calculated. Their own military choosing to starve children while feeding soldiers. One document details projected child mortality rates. Acceptable losses. Calculated sacrifice. Numbers on paper representing children who would die so soldiers could fight. The mothers rid in silence. Some weep. Some stare. Some just breathe. Sharp, angry breaths that sound like grief and rage mixed together. Yuki finds the section on medical exceptions. Children of high-ranking officers received full rations. Children of political officials received priority medical care. Children of common soldiers and civilian workers, expendable. Her daughter was expendable, by design, by policy, by her own people. The documents spread across the table. Evidence of betrayal. Proof that the real enemy wore the same uniform she once saluted. One mother makes a decision that will haunt her for 40 years. She asks the American soldier to adopt her daughter. She asks the American soldier to adopt her daughter. The words no mother should ever speak. Take her to America. She'll die if she stays with me. Mashiko speaks first. Her daughter is 35 pounds. The most critical case. Organ damage already beginning. The American medic said she has weeks, maybe, if treatment continues. But treatment ends when they're repatriated, when they return to Japan. To the same rationing system, the same policies. The same government that decided her daughter was expendable. Aha deru kodo yorimo, ikate iru kodo no hoga juoda. Being alive matters more than being her mother. The soldier, Corporal Matthews, the one who pointed at Kiko, looks uncomfortable, shifts his weight, looks at the interpreter for help. Mom, we can't. Military policy. No adoptions of enemy nationals. You'll be repatriated together when the war ends. Your daughter will receive medical care until then. But Mashiko knows the math. War ends. Repatriation begins. Medical care stops. Rationing resumes. Her daughter dies. Better to lose her daughter to America than to Japanese policy. 7 of 20. 3 mothers request American adoption for their children. 7 mothers willing to give up everything. Their children, their identity as mothers, their entire purpose. To save lives their own government decided weren't worth saving. 0 requests granted. Military policy is absolute. No exceptions. Enemy nationals cannot be adopted by occupying forces. Period. The mothers' voices crack as they plead. Beg. Offer anything. They'll sign documents. Renounce parental rights, whatever it takes. The Americans refuse. Not from cruelty. From policy. From rules designed to prevent exploitation. From regulations that make sense in theory but feel monstrous in practice. All families will eventually be repatriated together. That's the promise. That's the protocol. That's what Geneva Convention requires. But promises don't feed children. Protocols don't reverse organ damage. Conventions don't change rationing policies. The child plays with the chocolate wrapper, folding it, unfolding it, making it crinkle. oblivious to her mother's desperate attempt to give her away, oblivious to the choice between maternal love and maternal sacrifice. The soldier's uncomfortable silence fills the tent. What do you say to a mother trying to save her child by losing her child? 1985. 40 years later, that 8-year-old girl, now a grandmother herself, returns to Okinawa with a chocolate bar and a story. With a chocolate bar and a story. Because some memories refuse to fade. 40 years later, Keiko is 48 now, a grandmother herself, standing at the exact spot where the American soldier pointed at her. The pedo camp is gone, replaced by a memorial park, smooth stones, plaques, cherry trees planted in memory of those who died and those who survived. She holds a Hershey's chocolate bar, same brown wrapper, same foil, same impossible sweetness that saved her life 4 decades ago. Her granddaughter, 8 years old, same age Keiko was, stands beside her, listening, learning, understanding what her grandmother never spoke about until now. Anohi, teki ga watashi o sukura, watashi no haha dua naku. Watashi no koni dua naku, teki ga that day, the enemy saved me. Not my mother. Not my country. The enemy, of 23 Po children, 21 survived to adulthood. 91% survival rate. Compare that to 34% for children in Japanese-controlled territories during the same period. Most never spoke of the experience until the 1980s. The shame was too deep. The betrayal too complete. How do you tell your children that enemy soldiers showed more humanity than your own military? But Keiko speaks now. Her voice steady. Her story clear. She tells her granddaughter about the pointing finger, the chocolate bribe, the medical tent, the weight charts that revealed systematic starvation disguised as patriotic sacrifice. She tells her about her mother's desperate attempt to give her to America, about adoption requests denied, about repatriation to a country that decided she was expendable. She tells her about survival, about the vitamin injections and glucose drips that reversed organ damage, about the American medics who treated enemy children like their own. The memorial stone texture is smooth under her fingers. Modern Okinawa sounds surround them. Cars, tourists, life continuing. The chocolate smells the same after 40 years. Sweet, rich, impossible. Send her with me. 4 words that froze her mother with fear. 4 words that saved her life. 4 words she finally understands. In war, the pointing finger can mean death or salvation. The difference is measured in chocolate bars, and the courage to trust when trust should be impossible. When the enemy shows more humanity than your own people, who is the real enemy? Comment below. Would you have trusted the soldier with your child?